Episode begins as Reo turns to move away. He hears Nagi say that he really needs him. This causes him to pause for a moment. He clenches his fist in anger, wondering if he has any imagination regarding others. Nagi pats his shoulder, wondering what he means. Reo turns around angrily, saying that he is not thinking about his feelings. Nagi still doesn't know what he means. Reo elaborates that he keeps getting passed over, and now that he has decided to fight his own battle, he needs to be strong on his own. So he needs to stop saying stuff that wobbles his determination every time his mood swings. Nagi apologetically says that this is not what he's saying. Reo wonders what it is then. He explains that, ever since the day he invited him to play soccer, they have been together. Reo also remembers the day he asked him to win the World Cup together. Nagi lets him know that he is making the best choices he can for their goal. During the rival battle, what he thought was to get stronger by going with Isagi. Choosing England and learning from Agi and Chris is for the same goal. And now it's his turn, he's stronger. So now they can beat Isagi together, unlike last time. After a moment's pause, Reo tells Nagi that he is a selfish jerk, but Nagi wants him to imagine it, the new soccer they could create. Reo still sees him as a pain, but Nagi reassures him that they are thinking of the same thing and asks him if he is fired up too. Reo wonders if this is his ego speaking, but a blazing aura around Nagi suggests otherwise, as Nagi lets him know that it is his dream. Sure enough, that's the dream he discovered, and that has changed its form, and that has caused him to start running. Reo sweats like a hog, finally giving in and telling Nagi that they will play soccer. This time, he will ride his dream right to the world's top. Isagi is standing a few feet away, repeating his determination to devour Kaiser over and over again. He has only one goal in mind. Kunigami, on the other hand, is praised by everyone. He tells Isagi that his screwed-up shot was the best thing that happened to him in this match. But Isagi is not in the mood for games. He tells him that he doesn't understand the details of his plays or anything. He just went for the scraps he left behind. Kunigami wonders why he is running his mouth when he should be running his legs. He calls Isagi a striker son tauntingly, but Isagi tells him to keep cleaning up his leftovers, calling him a hyena hero. After their fresh exchange of insults, the announcer tells everyone the scoreboard is now 2-1. Bastard Mansion has scored again to pull ahead, and will Manshine City be able to catch up? The play starts to resume, and Isagi fires up his meta-vision once again, ready to gamble everything and not let Nagi move freely. He activates all of his senses, looking at the game from a higher dimension. Agi spearheads their offense while analyzing Isagi's movement and his breakthrough, as he's starting to become the eye of the hurricane. Isagi rushes towards the guy, ready to snatch the ball away from him, but Agi is determined to keep him at bay and help Nagi awaken. Kunigami arrives to tackle him, promising to deliver pain like no other. Agi shoves him away and manages to flick the ball around him. Everyone is going for the ball, and Isagi decides not to force his way to the ball right now, because Reo and Kaiser are counting on him, and he should get between Agi and Kunigami. He recalls a previous match when Noah and Lavina were going at it, and this time around, he understands the situation and is holding himself back. Surprisingly, he can see this is not the time to move yet, and he has improved considerably. Chigiri rushes past Agi, telling him to pass it. Isagi notices him making the same mistake as him, causing a shift of attention for Kunigami and giving Agi the opening he needs to break past him by following Chigiri route. Isagi is ready to move in to get the kill, but Kaiser arrives. After all, they share the same meta-vision. They slam into one another, and Kaiser threateningly tells him to get off his toes. Isagi wants Kaiser to let him handle it. Kaiser yells at Ness to steal it. Ness rushes after Reo, ready to get the ball for his king. Reo realizes the urgency of the matter and how he needs to use this chance to prove themselves. He passes the ball to Nagi, and Ness tells everyone to look out for the trap. But Ness can't apprehend the ball, and through a high-speed exchange, the ball moves from player to player, right back at Reo. Nagi says that his ideas stimulate his brain. Ness and the others can't keep up with this changing passing pattern. Agi rushes after Reo, asking him what he's doing. He shouldn't move Nagi to his ideas, it's stealing his creativity. But Reo tells him to shut it. He wasn't able to awaken Nagi enough, and this is what he wants. Reo smiles reassuringly. He always thought that he was the wrong fit for the job, but now he's flowing with inspiration for things to try with Nagi, and he will help his chameleon style to help Nagi score. This is how he will reach the flow. Reo decides to become Nagi's right-hand man. The two work in perfect harmony, creating a skeleton out of their collective aura and heading straight towards the hottest spot in the game. Isagi is not ready to admit his defeat and can't believe how the two of them are cooperating perfectly. Even though things were supposed to be rocky between them, they're working like cogs in a machine, and he has to crush them with his meta-vision. He tries to predict the optimal play they will make. Corona tries to block Reo, but Reo just whizzes past him with a fierce technique, passing the ball to Nagi. All of the players are starting to panic as they pass back and forth like androids. They can't believe how agile they are and how they can level up so suddenly. They try their best to stop them, but Reo can't believe that the one who thinks everything is a drag is playing like his life depends on it and is talking about his own dream. After walking different paths, facing frustration and resentment, and deciding to move alone, they have been reunited as the perfect duo. Maybe all of this was for this moment. He recalls Nagi's words, recalling their first game, and that fires up Reo. He is untouchable right now. Even Nagi acknowledges how good Reo has gotten. Nagi gets the ball, and he feels good playing this way. As they head to the hot spot with the ball bouncing between them, Nagi uses his shoulder to transport the ball from his right flank to his left and uses a backhand kick to return the ball into the air. This is the hottest place there is, but two meta-vision users block his path. He tells Isagi to move it, it's his ball. Isagi, on the other hand, is not about to give up. Nagi freezes for a moment and returns the ball to Reo. Reo realizes that he is asking one last pass from him. He has to make a split-second judgment to get the best route. He finally makes the call, giving him an overhead pass right over the meta-vision duo. Isagi tries his best to catch up, but Nagi is one step ahead. As the ball swings through the air, Isagi and Nagi compete to get ownership of it. Isagi still can't fathom why Nagi came forward just to challenge him. Nagi manages to flick the ball with his foot, forcing Isagi to acknowledge his exquisite pass. A trap that doesn't let the ball lose speed, he tries to see through his play with his better vision and blocks a pass with his leg. But it seems to be a feint after all. This is a double feint volley technique that he has seen before. He's ready to get the ball at any cost. But Nagi outsmarts him by leaping over his face with another feint. But Kaizar arrives in the nick of time, but he is treated to the same feint with 3 feints in a row. Nagi is ready to make a pass, but Nagi uses Isagi as a body bag to bounce the ball into the air. Isagi realizes that this play is beyond meta-vision at this point. Nagi looks at the ball swirling in the air, and he thanks Isagi for making him the world's best. He is now a vacant prodigy. He uses 5-fold revolutionary feint volley to slam the ball past the goalkeeper right through the net, and celebrating his victory by dabbing Reo right in the middle of the field. The fans are going wild. They can't believe what just happened. It's something straight out of fairy tales, a mind-blowing goal by Nagi, and thus Manshine City manages to bridge the gap with its competitors. Isagi, on the other hand, yells at the top of his lungs to vent his frustration. He couldn't stop him, even with his metavision. Nagi truly is incredible. Up till now, Nagi couldn't create his own gameplay. But that has changed. When Reo acted as a catalyst, Nagi began to form flexible ideas. He is evolving at an explosive rate, and now Isagi wants to keep up with him. He recalls trying to block the way along with Kaiser, but that pass and that feint from Nagi were world-class. Still, he doubts Nagi can do it consistently on command. Isagi tries to analyze the reason behind Nagi's awakening of that power. Nagi, meanwhile, whispers to himself that he has won. He has beaten Isagi. The flames that were burning around him began to fade. Isagi walks up to Nagi and tells him that he is amazing. He asks him how he reached this point and what his state of mind is. Nagi replies that he's been playing soccer just to beat him. Reo helped him, and in the end it feels good to achieve his dream. Isagi wonders if that's all there is to it. Nagi grins, feeling like he has become the protagonist of the planet. Isagi tries to put the pieces together. All this time, Nagi's sole goal was to defeat him. Thinking about it in terms of flow, there was a suitable challenge at the start of the match. He was trying to create his own gameplay, but it didn't align with his goal of beating Isagi. That's why he wasn't able to unleash his full strength. After teaming up with Reo, he was able to focus on his goal. It was a challenge that let him believe he was the protagonist. That's why Reo understood the play to help Nagi get involved. Isagi finally realizes that beating him was the final catalyst for Nagi's evolution. Isagi walks up to Reo and asks if he's satisfied. Reo seems satisfied for now, but Isagi tells him that Nagi's career is in his hands, and he has already lost interest in him. Reo smirks, saying that jealousy doesn't suit him. Isagi tells the duo that he has figured out their formula. It can be seen as a teenage drama, and no matter how outstanding their play is, it's useless if they can't do it again. He won't let them rely on random miracles anymore. Reo wonders if everyone's on yapping duty today, but they challenge Isagi to reach the next chapter on their way to the top. Nagi, meanwhile, looks at Isagi, wondering what's next for him. After all, he has achieved his goal. Chris gets up from the bench and tells everyone that the score is even. Now is the time for the climax. It's time for the greatest superstar to enter the field, and here he comes. Everyone looks in horror as Chris steps onto the field. Manshine City, on the other hand, is delighted to have its ace join the match. One of them wonders if it's to teach the others personally, but Chris says that's not it. The last one who scores will be the hero, and he wants that to be him so he can look good. He's so fired up that he tears apart his shirt to reveal his godly physique. As soon as he steps onto the field, he gets a yellow card for tearing his shirt, but he isn't too upset about it. The Blue Lockers, on the other hand, wonder if he's an idiot. Reo happily wonders what their formation will be. Chris tells him that they will be on the top, and the 3 Blue Lockers will act as midfielders. He also compliments Reo on the nice goal he scored. But then Chris reminds him that his goal was to become the best player in the world alone, and now he's given up on that ideal. Reo is speechless as Chris says that Blue Lock isn't a place to create the world's best striker. Reo smiles, saying that it doesn't matter. Chris smiles back, asking him if that is his new ideal, but Reo disagrees, correcting him that this is his new ego. Noah arrives, telling Chris that he's always talking about ideals, but in the end, he's just trying to prove himself. As a master, he's nothing but a failure. Everyone looks at Noah in shock, realizing that things are about to go down for real. Chris smirks, taunting him by calling him the world's best and reminding him about last year's European Player Award. Chris was second in that category, and if not for Noah, he would have been first. Noah nonchalantly reminds him that he had 800 boards, while Chris only had 200. Everyone watches the two legends tease each other like children. Chris tries to keep his cool, calling Noah rude and saying he can't help himself. Noah tells everyone that he is switching to defensive midfielder rather than forward, so he can help stop this attention-seeking narcissist. Chris smiles, promising to obliterate him. But Noah coolly reminds him that this is not his stage, and he should step back. Chris responds that he hates him. Isagi tries to keep up with the changes. He needs to figure out a scheme so he can conquer this match. Even though he has acquired metavision, managing to boost his scope and playing level, it's not enough to beat Kaiser. He is neither as fast nor as technically controlled as him. He doesn't have a signature move. He can use his direct shot, but if Kaiser catches up to him, it will be the end of his story. In other words, he can't beat him in the same dimension. He needs another piece to surpass him. He looks at the two legends entering the play. If he can figure out how Noah is faster than anyone else and use the data they have, maybe it could trigger an evolution in him. Yukimiya, watching everyone get fired up, feels defeated. He hasn't been able to do anything. He's just running around. His eyes are still okay, just a bit blurry, but he has no time to mope about. He hasn't achieved anything, and he needs to make a name for himself before the match ends. This might be his last chance. He is ready to put his life on the line. Both Yukimiya and Isagi vow to achieve the final goal. Noah tells everyone to get ready. He will follow the most rational one on the field. Chris, on the other hand, shamelessly asks his team to sit back and watch him score the final point. The match is finally reaching its conclusion. Will the goal go to the most powerful, or the dark horse? The game starts with an explosive formation as Ness dribbles the ball alongside Kaiser. Isagi tries to keep up, realizing that Chris and Noah are on the field for only 3 minutes. He needs to get a grasp of the situation quickly. This time he decides not to rush in to steal the ball like before. He recalls Noah saying that he will follow the most rational player. Isagi understands now he doesn't need a miracle goal. He needs to stay calm and collected if he wants to get that last point. He glances at Noah, reassuring him with his eyes. Meanwhile, Kaiser and Ness are passing the ball between themselves. Kaiser gets the ball and is immediately faced with Chris. Chris smirks, calling him a rising star and telling him to show what he's got. Kaiser, however, is not easily provoked and passes the ball back to Ness. Chris wonders if he's running away. He taunts Kaiser, saying that although he acts superior toward everyone, deep down he's just a coward, a little pathetic. This enrages Kaiser. He calls for the ball back from Ness, determined to send the old-timer back to the retirement home. Chris zooms toward Kaiser, but Kaiser manages to evade his approach. Isagi notices how strong and fast Kaiser has become. He's in a higher gear than before, but Chris is keeping up with his physical abilities. They're both using their full arsenals, and this is a duel no one else can interfere with. Chris smiles and tells Kaiser to get past him if he dares. He mocks him, asking if this is the best the so-called world's best rookie can do. Kaiser manages to maneuver the ball between Chris and himself, slamming into Chris as he does. But Chris catches up immediately after Kaiser gets the pass. Then Noah arrives out of nowhere, telling everyone to listen. Isagi tries to keep up, anticipating everyone's next move. Suddenly, Reo slides in, stealing the ball right in the middle of this chaos. He makes a gamble, and Isagi can't believe how he's keeping up with their level. He wonders if Reo is using metavision subconsciously. Reo shouts for everyone to get the second ball. Chigiri arrives, takes control, and heads toward the golden zone. He tears through the field like a phantom, using a killer rote. Isagi tries to keep up with Chigiri, noticing how world-class his skills are. It's like watching a red panther going in for the kill. But then Yukimiya slides in front of the goal like a hero, promising to break the kitten and her fangs. Isagi yells to Yukimiya that he's done a great job. All of the talented players are now heading for the goal. It's time for a final showdown. Chapter 1, 194. Chigiri grits his teeth in frustration as he is outside his rage, where Yukimiya has no other choice but to try to stop him. In a desperate attempt to evade Yukimiya, Chigiri slams the ball away, trying to go for a feint to launch the ball into the goal's corner. As his course is open, Kaiser arrives out of nowhere and slams into him. He impassively says that he is too slow, thus throwing him off his beat, and he can't help but wonder if he made an extra movement or something. He needs to give up on the shot. In a desperate attempt to keep the ball from landing in Kaiser's lap, he passes it to Chris. Chris gets the ball, but Noah also arrives to counter their ace up their sleeve, taunting world's number 2 player and bowing to crush him. But Chris smiles, saying that a press to cut off his course is very rational of him, but he is too late. Noah wonders if he is crazy. He doesn't have a clean shot, but Chris smiles like a madman. He has thrown rationality out of the window, and it's foolish to challenge Noah in terms of rationality. That's why he has a secret technique. The muscles on his thighs start to bulge, and he shoots the ball haphazardly, saying this is his irrational new weapon. Everyone looks at the ball spinning towards the goal in an unstable trajectory. Gagamaru wonders what he should do, as Chris smiles that this is the world's greatest random shot. Not even he knows where it will land. Gagamaru raises his eyebrow, wondering if he should use his instincts, but the ball is too wild to be predicted. Isagi rushes towards Gagamaru, and he's not even looking at the ball. He's just looking at the goal, and all of a sudden he tells Gagamaru to jump. Gagamaru follows him without a complaint and jumps. Isagi uses his arm to boost his momentum and manages to kick the ball off course, gaining praise from everyone, surprising all of his rivals by being a made shield. Even Chris gasped in shock, with his eyes threatening to pop out of their sockets. Isagi realizes that reading the ball is not the best course, but he could sense the most dangerous area, and he gambled on its rationality by guarding the area, and thus he has daubed him. With newfound determination blazing in his eyes, he realizes it's his turn to shine now. The crowd goes wild, and the fans are beside themselves with Isagi's miraculous save. All of Manshine City is frozen in shock, as the announcer lets everyone know that even though Chris executed a high-speed knuckle shot, it has been defeated by a desperate body block, and this is Blue Lock's heaven-sent hero, Isagi. Isagi tells everyone that it's the second ball, and someone needs to get it. Corona manages to get the ball while everyone is standing in a daze. He glazes Isagi that he's been moved by God himself. Isagi is excited by Kurona's rapid response, and since Noah and Chris are in the field, he needs to gamble on the play, and the one piece he needs to incorporate into his play is chaos. He looks around, realizing that Kisar still doesn't have a grasp of the situation, and they can use this chance to make a full counter. Kurona can help him get a shot, and this is the time for his own goal. The enemy is on the far side of the field. They must find a gap in their defense and a route nobody has seen yet. Isagi scans the field and notices that there's a 1 in a million chance. The Yukimiya slams into him all of a sudden. In a fit of shock, Isagi whispers that he is his teammate. The Yukimiya tells him to shut it. He shouldn't think that the world revolves around him. The Yukimiya steals the ball, yelling out that he doesn't have any time. He whizzes past Reo in a surprising display of agility. Reo can't believe this, and Isagi whispers if he's going for his own goal. While zoning in and out of a daze, he recalls the doctor handing him his glasses and telling him that they suit him, and his treatment is also going well. He recalls the doctor telling him that he needs to be patient with his treatment, and he recalls saying that he finally accepts the state of his eyes, that God never gives one trials that they can't overcome, and maybe this is so that he can overcome them. Presently, Yukimiya is fighting for his life, trying to make the most out of his time left. He's been waiting for everyone to let their guard down so he could counter and make a one-in-a-kind full break. He zigzags through the opposing players with surgical precision, recalling the line from his childhood that God gives one trials that they can overcome. Everyone looks at him in surprise as he's gotten past 6 guys from their other side, and he's finally in the position to shoot. All of his painful memories start flooding his brain as he pours everything he's got into the last kick of the match, yelling out that he can overcome and beat them. They look at the ball spiral out of control and realize it's a gyro shot. The goalkeeper tries his best to shield the net from his fury, but Yukimi's pain is too much for anyone to handle. All of a sudden, like a guardian god, ready to thwart any mortals who dare foolishly corrupt their kingdom, Chris manages to block the goal and threateningly tells Yukimiya that there's no way this just happened.